Oh my God.
Hello again everyone, you're back with us for another video. This is our 250th actual cruising video that we've done, so it's a little celebration for us. In this video we leave a place called Goldstone Wharf. There's a pub there as well, but we didn't visit this time. We just stopped there for a couple of relaxing days and then set off, and we make our way through some glorious scenery, absolutely beautiful, and we have a few jokes in this one. I'm not saying they're good, but there's a couple in there. And we end up going past Knighton, where it's famous for the chocolate, but we'll explain that more in the video. So instead of me talking now, let's get going, and we hope you enjoy this cruise going along the wonderful Shropshire Union with the Tiller people. We didn't go very far yesterday. We stopped at Goldstone Wharf, and we even put the fire on. Never went the pub though, but you never know. Today we're making our way towards Norbury. It's not that far, a few hours, and we might frequent the junction inn. Who knows? We'll find out when we're safely tied up and moored in a lovely little spot somewhere around Norbury Junction. As we're going along, we're going to be coming to a few places to talk about. You know, we always take in the surroundings and how nice it is and that, but over the years we learn little bits about things, and we take notice, and we try not to do it as a voiceover. I always just try to do things with like a bit of passion. I don't just want to read it from a book and forget about it. I just want to memorise these things, and because we come up and down this wonderful canal a lot, we get to know, and you memorise it, quite interesting things. And I hope you know, when you're listening to it, you appreciate it. It's not all about history and that, because we like doing other things as well, but giving you pieces of information as well as letting you listen all the sounds, you know, and see all the ambience of the canals is an important part to us as well, which we hope you continue to enjoy. I do have one of my stories what I'm going to tell you now, which I've found quite amusing as well as interesting. Yeah, it's all about the working boats years ago. Now, they used to take things everywhere, you know. There was milk. It varies from canal, you know, to canal. Sometimes it might be milk, like we're going to talk about later. Other times it's coal, which is in certain areas, you know, like the Midlands, or slate in Wales, all that sort of thing. But, and I think this is a good little story, this. And it's truthful. And I've no book to talk about it, because again I've memorised it. But in the Industrial Revolution, up and down this canal, perishable goods were coming up and down, and I've talked about the flyboats, and then even more so when steam and diesel came along. But what was one of the things what was introduced to this country? I don't know. Guinness. Yes, Guinness. That came from Dublin to Ellesmere Port. Now that was a big major port, you know, some people might not know, but that was a major inland port. And there you had boats like, not just narrowboats, you had, because the old part of the canal before Nantwich was wider, you had boats known as Mersey Flats as well. And they were a lot bigger than the narrowboats, but the new part of the canal was built for more narrow dimensions. But anyway, coming from Dublin there, Guinness came. Now, on boats, you know, you have a narrowboat and that. If you notice, or people's talked about it, there's mileage signs, which are handy for us as well. But you'll see it saying, you know, like Otherley Junction 30 miles, Prestonbrook, whatever, 50 miles, things like that. Now, from them, tolls were calculated, so you got charged. So when the boat was full of Guinness in all the barrels, it was then measured the depth of the boat, and then they can work out what weight there was, and whatever weight it was, I don't know, 20 tons, 25 tons, and they knew what weight it was. So the boats went along to take their goods, and they took them to the Midlands. And Guinness became very popular in the Midlands and everywhere else eventually. But the boatmen, what did they do? It was a skill. It's surprising what new skills you can learn if you want to try something. But everything's paid for, you know, by charging for what you take and weight. So what they used to do, they used to very carefully break into the barrels and take out Guinness, you know, for themselves to have a drink. But that meant that the boat would be lighter if they were drinking Guinness. So what did they do? They replaced the alcoholic content with water to keep the weight up. So Guinness came, but it wasn't its purest form when it was reaching some of these places. I know it's a bit of a long story, but it's a fact. So Guinness was drank by a lot of boatmen who then watered down the original product. Yeah, I don't have to tell you some stories, don't I? Right, let's carry on regardless. Very soon we'll be coming into some open countryside, and there's not much around here what's not flat, but I'll show you as we're going along. But there's what looks like a big rock standing out, and that's called the Wrekin, and that's quite a well-known place around here, and you'll understand why when you see a view, which I'll show you as we're going along. We'll also be coming to one of the more troublesome embankments when this canal was being built. If I'm not mistaken, by this time this particular embankment was causing many problems for a very well, he was ill, Thomas Telford. He was deaf and not in the best of health, and he brought in another engineer to help him. William Jessup, I think is the name, and if I'm wrong, I'll put the other name in the video, but I think it was William Jessup. And they were having mega problems with this embankment, but I'll talk about that when we get there. There's also a little thing about chocolate as well. Many people have talked about it, but we've seen it over the years, and there used to be some marvellous boats there, but I don't know if they're still there now, but we'll only find that out when we get there. So I've got quite a bit more to tell you.
Keith, did you hear Eric's joke?
Which one?
Well, you know when you're in Scotland and the fellas are wearing kilts, and you often wonder which clan they're from. Do you know how to tell?
Go on.
Well, if you just lift the kilt up and there's a quarter pounder there, he's a McDonald.
Ooh, a bit of a risque one for our channel, but quite funny.
I can't rival your jokes, though, Keith.
Oh, I don't know. I think that was better than quite a few of mine. Some more lovely scenery around here.
You can just see the reek in there.
Yeah, I think it's in cloud a little bit, isn't it? I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but it's only the thing of any considerable height round here. But normally it's a lot clearer than that, but it's a little bit misty at the moment, even though the weather is roasting hot. One moment it's red hot, and then next thing, breeze is out, isn't it?
Yes. Still very warm.
Oh yes, you can still cope with it. But I think this country's, there's been more wind around in the last few years. You know, it's unbelievable how windy it gets now. Is it part of climate change? Lots of linear moorings along this stretch of the Shropshire and beyond, but it's doesn't spoil your boating, does it?
No. Well, it's wide and it's deep,
yeah.
And we only go slow anyway, don't we?
Yes. There's some nice traditional boats as well along here. Very nice indeed.
And some that we've seen for years and years and years.
Oh, for a long time. Some have deteriorated rapidly, but other ones have been well looked after. That's the one thing with boating. If you're not a bit hands-on or a bit knowledgeable, things can either deteriorate very quickly or cost you a lot of money to rectify. Yes, I think we like the rural canals best, don't we?
Yes, we do.
We do. We don't need to go through any ropey areas. We just want to relax and take everything in, don't we? That's what it's about.
Yeah, well, we haven't got a tick list anymore, have
No
we?
tick lists. No tick lists anymore.
Oh, remember that boat?
Oh yes, yeah, yeah. Peggy Sue, how do you do? Yes.
Years ago.
Years and years ago, that's from. A friend of mine is an absolute keep fit fanatic and he always wants the best gear, so we bought a brand new racket and a state-of-the-art shuttlecock. Unbelievable. They have a lovely dog, absolutely lovely, quite big, and it's named Minton, and you wouldn't believe it, but this shuttlecock, what cost him a lot of money, the dog went and ate it. Oh, he wasn't half annoyed, and he shouted over to it, "Badminton."
Oh no!
I told you yours were better than mine.
Yeah, that was very bad. Oh. Oh, that was one of your worst, that one, Keith.
Thank you. Much appreciated.
He was going too fast towards a bridge
Yes,
anyway.
day boat in panic mode, this is.
It's when they approach the bridges too fast, isn't it?
Yeah, or give up the steering completely and the boat swings out like it is now.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah, I'm alright. It can put power back in now.
Yeah, you were going too fast, so we had to come round. All right, just take it slow as you approach a bridge. Should we have coffee when we stop?
If you want.
winding hole down here.
There is a winding hole down here. There is. Hi.
Something under.
Yeah, something again. Very, very shallow here. Yes, on the bottom. Almost stopping, in fact.
Just leave it to glide under. The wind will probably
Yes,
blow
we
you
blow
back.
over.
Needs
Soon
a good
they'll-
shovel, doesn't it?
Yeah, I said soon they'll want boats to be built with 1 foot drafts.
I bet some are, aren't they?
All the black bits coming up because we're more or less on the bottom now. So we'll have to do some manoeuvres one way or other. I've been down this area so many times and I've still got it wrong. I kept thinking Knighton was after the embankment, but it's just before it. Knighton being where the Cadbury's factory was built in 1911. There's still quite a bit of history there, you'll see when we come to it. You know, it's still got some nice things about it, even though what they did and that is long gone. But it was quite unique, really, because not only did they have the factory, they had the first 2 motorised canal boats anywhere in the UK for taking crumb. Now, crumb was made at Knighton from evaporated milk and cocoa, and it produced this crumb what could last quite a while, which was great for them. And these, particularly after they used horse-drawn boats at first, but then they started to use the motorised boats. Bourneville won the first one, which is obvious, and they took it down to Bourneville, where the lovely chocolate you know today was made. And the year after it was that successful, they built Bourneville 2 to carry on doing the same work, and it continued till I think it's 61. Yeah, 1961. And you've probably been told before, but the last person to do it, and the most famous name, because everybody on the canals had nicknames and that for what they did, and that was what was he called now? Let's see. Oh yes, Chocolate Charlie. He did the last trip then. I wonder what it was like then. Anyway, when we get to it, I'll concentrate a bit, because it gets very narrow in places, and just underneath the water there is plenty of rocks which you can easily find yourself grinding along, particularly if another boat comes. So we'll concentrate a bit if there's another boat. Not that I don't concentrate anyway. Now shut up, Keith, and let's get on with boating again.
It's down a bit, the water.
When we go through this next bridge, I think it's number 46, we're in the early, you know, the start of the embankment. It's called Shebden. Very problematic. But before that, like I say, now that I've got my bearings right, it'll be the Knighton Wharf at on the Shropshire. It would be nice if there was some boats in there, but things have seemed to have changed a bit last time we came, but you never know. A boat coming. I think I might let him come through. It's not worth going in this part. It's like I said, it gets so shallow on one side. It's bad enough here.
Yeah, it's too shallow we're too deep to get through with you. Is there anything following you?
Thank you.
This is where you just have to be careful, because you think two boats can get through here, but sticking out about 3 feet or 1 metre on the right is loads of rocks.
Cold in here, isn't it? Cold in here.
It's a bit cold in here.
Get in the sun. You won't catch a fish.
Catch more fish here in the dark.
We always take it slow coming through there. There's that many rocks on the side. You can't really fit 2 boats proper.
I'm wondering whether it's changed some sort of paint dock now, because that was never there. There used to be 2 beautiful boats there. But like I say, because it was perishable goods, this is another wharf what's covered. Chocolate Charlie's name was actually Charlie Atkins, but it's like I said, they all had nicknames depending what type of work they did on the canals. Yeah, it has changed a little bit. Doesn't look quite as romantic as it used to do. Just before I go off the subject of chocolate, etc., the boats, Bourneville 1 and Bourneville 2, were quite unique at the time, because all boats used to be built of wood, particularly elm. They were built of mild steel. All the cargo on boats used to be under canvas, and that's why you see crash covers with the V shape, things like that. But those boats had metal at the front. They were covered with metal. Well, they weren't arches, they were just, and not flat, they just were slightly curved all the way along the length of the boat. Perhaps that was the start of the modern narrowboat, who knows? But they use the same materials as what we use now. I think that was a nice little cruise to celebrate our 250th YouTube video, and we hope you found that very enjoyable. I know we did on that trip. It was lovely, absolutely lovely. So I think that's it for now. Like I say, we enjoyed doing that one, and we have more to come. But as usual, all we say for now is stay safe, stay healthy, and we look forward to you joining us next time. Ta-ra.